all about being mission-minded. It's this plateau, this foundation, this ground that all other levels are going to be built upon. All of the other levels that I'm referring to are where the Lord will take you. The sanctification, the glory to glory that the Lord promises to take you to. All of that is built upon being mission-minded, to be committed to being a witness to resurrection and to reveal the risen Christ. That's basically a summary. Now, we want to be a witness to Jesus' resurrection. We also want to be a witness to just resurrection in general, the concept of resurrection, the reality of resurrection, our own personal resurrection. And we want to reveal the risen Christ, which means we want to play out that murder case. I referred to it in a previous level, but the murder case is basically where the concept is, we can prove that Jesus resurrected in the same way that a murder case might be proven in a court of law. Now, murder cases they don't use, science or chemistry specifically and exclusively. Okay. They use deducible facts in murder cases because a lot of the times you don't have any of that evidence to work on, but you do have logic and you've got reason and you've got events and you've got things that you can piece together and you can come to the true conclusion based on limited knowledge, limited information. That's how we deduce facts. And in the same way, we can prove that Jesus resurrected from the dead. We've got physical evidence. We've got historical evidence. We've got personal testimony. We've got archaeological evidence. And all of that together, when we unpack it all, it's more than enough to prove the case that Jesus resurrected. And so that's how we can be a witness to Jesus' resurrection. And we can be a witness to resurrection in general by giving a basic understanding of how might resurrection even be possible, even be like the physical mechanism. How might the physical mechanism even be possible? And we can easily lay that out by saying, look, if clearly all things have been created, then you've got a creator who has absolute control of every particle. They can literally manipulate and move particles. And the creator can also create new particles too. And so when you combine those two abilities together, that you can control existing particles and you can manipulate, create new particles, well, then you can do whatever you want with those and you could resurrect a dead body with those. Take the case of Adam, all right? Adam, the first human, the way it describes Adam being come into creation. He came out of the ground. It's a similar scenario. You've got the atoms and the particles that were in the dirt, but then you've also got new particles that ended up in Adam's body that may not have specifically been in the dirt. And so the Lord must have manifested those particles and atoms and molecules and elements and things into his body to form the living man. But then he breathed his life into Adam and gave him life. Now, it's the same concept with resurrection. If you got Jesus in the tomb and his corpse is not much different than a pile of dirt in the concept of particles and molecules and whatnot. So you've got Jesus' corpse, you've got his body there, which is still somewhat intact. It's gone through rigor mortis, but the creator could use what is already there and manifest new particles into his corpse to, for example, heal and cure and solve the problem of the hole through his lung and his heart. He would bring those cells back together. He would form them back together. He would create new molecules. Maybe it's all 100% new creation. And he's done something where he's kind of scrapped all of the existing molecules and he's just created all new ones. And they just happen to be in the exact same form of his body because the creator would know Jesus's DNA, his physical human body DNA, and he could rebuild it because he knows the language of how his body is formed. And it's the same for us. The Lord can, even though if our bodies are completely disintegrated, he could theoretically reconstruct us with new molecules and form us in such a way that it is truly our cells, our bodies. But then he breathes life into us and gives us and puts our soul into this body, and that's resurrection. So there's some concepts there. There's some ways you can be a witness to resurrection in general and the concept of resurrection, but you can also be a witness to the personal resurrection that, look, I've experienced resurrection. I was spiritually dead. I remember being spiritually dead, and now I'm alive. And you can be a personal witness to your own resurrection. And it's the same concept with the way Adam brought death into the world, so Jesus brings life into the world. Well, look at it. How did Adam bring death into the world? Well, they ate the fruit and then they died spiritually right away. But later on, they died physically. And so it's the same with life. When the Lord brings us to life, we are brought to life immediately, but then spiritually resurrected right away. But then later on, we're physically resurrected. And so when we experience this spiritual resurrection, when our heart is being renewed, when our mind is being transformed, when we see that I'm a new creation, we can see this, we already know that resurrection has already occurred. It's already happened. There's no undoing it. There's no stopping it. It's a process that plays out eventually. Yes, the physical body will die, or at the moment of the rapture or some other kind of thing like that, the Lord can just make it happen in that sense. I think it would be that we would die, but then immediately be resurrected in the resurrection. But that's my own thoughts, and I digress from away from that because it's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to remember our being mission minded, okay, to being focused on helping others come to life because we want them in life. We want them to be alive with us. We want that community. That's kind of the whole thing. We want our brothers and sisters and families to be a family, to be a community. And so we come together. We want them to have life for the sake that we can have life together, right? That's the heart of the Lord and why he's done all of this. Why did he go through all the trouble to resurrect in the first place? It's so that we might have life. Okay. So if we're not on level 7 yet, again, this is where we get into the community, we get into the posts, into the discussions, into the direct messages, and we talk it out. We have community, and we get you on to level 7. All right. So until then, we have some other courses. Okay, we've got the law of communication. That's going to be an important one in order to be able to be that witness. It's going to be very helpful to be able to help people understand the communication factor of what the Lord has done here. And we also have the 3 pillars of proof. I'm kind of breezed over a lot of those, but the concept is that there's enough evidence and there's enough proof to come to the decision. And that's what the 3 pillars of proof is about. So check those out too. As I'm recording it, I don't have them up yet, but I'm working on it and they'll be up soon. So until then, see you in the community and we'll see you being a witness. God bless.